What weapons are being used in Russia's invasion of Ukraine? A visual guide to key military equipment and locations, Russia continues its assault on Ukraine, deploying a wide array of weapons as Ukraine holds off advances with NATO-provided weapons. As Russian troops attempt to advance across Ukraine on multiple fronts, the world has been getting a closer look at both countries' weaponry, how deadly they can be, and how quickly expensive equipment can be destroyed. Before Russia's invasion, Western observers may have seen some of these machines triumphantly displayed in the annual Moscow Victory Day parades in Red Square. But now Russia is using these vehicles and weapons in brutal military assaults that have battered Ukrainian cities. Russian troops continue to push forward to the capital city of Kiev, but have been slowed by intense resistance from Ukrainian forces, whose stockpiles have been bolstered with Western military equipment. Here's a look at some of the key equipment deployed in the conflict so far. Poland giving its fleet of MiG-29 fighters to US for use by Ukrainian pilots. The Pentagon said that Poland's offer to give its MiG-29 fighter jets to the US so they can be passed on to Ukraine raises serious concerns for the NATO alliance, and the plan is not a tenable one. Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby said in a statement that the prospect of jets departing from a US or NATO base in Germany to fly into airspace contested with Russia in the Ukrainian war is concerning. He said it's not clear to the US that there is a substantive rationale for it. Chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee Robert Mendez said that Poland has decided to transfer its MiG-29 jets to the US military, which could then transfer those Soviet-era planes to Ukraine to bolster its air defenses. Ukrainian pilots are trained to fly Soviet-era fighter jets. Poland will give all of its MiG-29 fighter jets to the US, apparently agreeing to an arrangement that would allow them to be used by Ukraine's military. The decision came Tuesday as Washington was looking at a proposal under which Poland would supply Ukraine with Soviet-era fighters and in turn receive American F-16s to make up for their losses. The Polish Foreign Ministry said in a statement that Poland is ready to deliver the jets to the US Ramstein Air Base in Germany. Developed to counter US fighter superiority, MiG-29 prototypes began flying in 1977 and were deployed in the early 80s, a twin-engine fighter jet that can travel more than 1,500 miles per hour. The MiG-29 has been modernized over the years with additional fuel capacity for longer flights, improving radar and air-to-surface missiles. The Ukrainian Air Force has MiG-29 aircraft too. Ukrainian forces are using portable missiles against aircraft. Armed forces of Ukraine on Saturday shared a video on Twitter depicting the fiery downfall of a Russian helicopter shot down by Ukrainian forces. The tweet read, "Welcome to hell." The defiant mantra directed toward Russian invaders has been seen painted on road signs and heard in impassioned speeches. The helicopter is believed to be an Mi-24 and appears to be shot down by a man-portable air defense system. Charred vehicles and destruction in Bucha, Ukraine. A scene of destruction was visible in Bucha, Ukraine, where Russian military vehicles were charred in an apartment air attack in the town 20 miles from the capital Kiev. Meanwhile, casualties mounted and reports emerged that more than 70 Ukrainian soldiers were killed after Russian artillery recently hit the military base in Okindria, a city between Kharkiv and Kiev, the capital. Several Russian BTR-style armored vehicles were seen charred in the streets of Bucha along with MTLB armored vehicles and assortment of Russian support vehicles. The BTR-70 is an armored personnel carrier, a vehicle used to transport troops into combat. This 8-wheeled amphibious vehicle has more armor than its predecessor, but it's also faster and is equipped with 2 machine guns. Its 14.5mm machine gun can penetrate a 32mm armored plate more than 500 yards away. Developed in the 1970s, this APC is also used by Ukrainian forces. The MTLB is usually classified as an armored personnel carrier with a 7.62mm machine gun, but it's also designed for multiple uses. Introduced by the Soviet military in 1964, the amphibious tracked vehicle can carry 11 soldiers or transport fuel or ammunition across snowy or muddy terrain. With modification, it can function as a tank destroyer or launch surface-to-air missiles. Weaponsystems.net calls it an iconic Cold War combat vehicle. Gas Tiger vehicles destroyed in Kharkiv. Russia's conventional military assault on Ukraine moved closer to the capital Kiev on February 28th, with fighting in the streets of the country's second-largest city, Kharkiv. Charred gas tear can be seen in the streets of Kharkiv, leaving evidence of heavy fighting. Introduced in 2005 by Russian automaker Gaz, the Tiger is an all-terrain high-mobility vehicle counterpart to the American HMWV, or Humvee. Armored versions are protected with 5mm plating, and the Tiger is typically used for rapid response patrols and convoy escorts. Weapon configurations vary, but the Tiger is capable of carrying a half-ton of a cargo. Gas Tiger. Troops advance on Ukraine. Russia ordered its troops to advance in Ukraine from all directions, as the Ukrainian capital Kiev imposed a blanket curfew and officials reported 198 civilian deaths. A Russian T-90A tank was destroyed by the Ukrainian forces on the side of the road in Luhansk region of the same day. The T-90A tank, an upgraded version of the T-90, was first deployed in 2004. The T-90A, its top speed is 40 miles per hour and its range is about 430 miles. Its improvements include better armor, targeting systems, and a more accurate main gun. Russian forces used the tanks in the 2014 Donbass War. The Ka-52 forced down outside Kiev. The Russian attack began around 4:30 a.m. in Ukraine with a barrage of over 100 ballistic cruise surface-to-air missiles and included 75 medium and heavy bombers. The invasion is the largest in Europe since World War II. Later that day, a Russian Ka-52 helicopter gunship was forced to land near Kiev. The Ka-52 attack helicopter can travel as fast as 185 miles per hour. The Russian Air Force developed and deployed it in the 1990s, and it uses it for attacks, patrols, and convoy protection. Please subscribe to the channel.